Welcome to Two Guys.
A girl.
and an MBA.
Diving into comments on last week's Mark Carney video. Carney touted rough, tough on tariffs while capitulating behind closed doors. He's a liar and a coward, uber underaged.
Wow. Uh, we're clear about your opinion. What do we comment? Yeah, maybe we'll see. My prediction is Mark Carney is going to stay for 2 years. He's going to get bored. That's it. This is like a part-time job. It's like honestly, it's kind of under his his pedigree. I mean, he's a global guy, globalist. You call him whatever you want. So the not fans of Carney, give him 2 years. I don't think he's going to stick around.
That's my
My opinion.
prediction for Trump. I think he's going to get bored after 2 years and go golfing, but maybe it'll be one year.
No, he will back third time, I think.
Next, Jay Barron, 3738 says Carney showed Trump by moving his company, Brookfield, from Canada to New York to evade taxes. He also moved funds to Bermuda to hide it from revenue in Canada. Crying face emoji. I think taxes are really high in Canada, right? I think this is a huge incentive to move south of the
Well, he
border.
he he moved Brookfield's office to the Barbados, but it's just I think it's above a bike shop. There was an article in our paper. Yeah, and it just get glossed over because as typical Canadians, we'll turn a blind eye to those things as long as Mark Carney helps us and saves us from the big bad Trump. I mean, so and that's the crazy part about, our country. We don't hold the same standards. It depends on our circumstance, then everything changes, right? Oh, okay, well, he could do that, he did that before. Meanwhile, I mean, over a bike shop, I mean, I could probably grab the article just so I don't get fact checked.
I didn't know about Brookfield Corporation. This is Wikipedia.
Yep.
Is a Canadian multinational with over 900 billion, almost a trillion in assets under management.
Yep.
Much of which is workers' deferred income from global pension funds. So that's like people's 401ks and retirement accounts now moving to Bermuda. I mean, I don't know. Is it bad that those are getting more tax efficient? That's good for those people with $1 trillion of pensions, right?
What do you mean moving it out like offshore?
He's complaining about the offshoring of it to evade the Canadian taxes, and I'm saying, well,
Right.
that's good for your average pensioner who's invested in that fund. So, I mean, you can't fault people for taking advantage of the tax laws that exist. You can complain about the tax laws that we should change them, that people shouldn't be able to do this or that to evade things, but it's the job of the corporation and the CEO to maximize profit for the shareholders, right? So, I mean, this is the world we live in.
Yeah, that's the same argument Donald Trump uses. I'm not against the argument, but then the other argument is look, rules have to be applied fairly, and I know they're working within the tax. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen a tax code book. Supposedly, it's like this massive tome of craziness, and you got to interpret it, and then if you talk to your accountant, you have to like tell him to interpret it or her. Uh, so I just think really when you're leading a country of a majority of people who are struggling right now to pay their mortgages. Maybe you could do that before. Maybe you have to clean it up. You definitely got to talk about it. And I'm not saying if everybody has access to the same things, but with restrictions, right? So I'm a capitalist that way. We should talk about it though. Is he a
Fair
true
point.
representation? Yeah,
Fair
of
point.
Canada.
Wendy Murray, his wife has multiple degrees and amazing job experience. Okay.
Lucky him.
Yeah, she's actually, from what I understand, she's part of like not royalty. I think her sister married into it. She's a duchess. Like this whole Canadian colonial stuff kind of irks me. They're always connected. There's always a back room. There's always tea in the salon, and the rest of us are like,
And does it help in some way to have this kind of connection?
yeah, he
Yeah.
absolutely does. He goes and sees the king. The king's coming next week. This king's coming to save Canada.
Whee!
Not really. I don't think we need
Then you just says, hey, join to UK.
Oh,
So-
I got a king story. So
Mm.
Prince Charles came to do an opening for some organization I was part of, right? So we're gonna meet him. And then they had the protocol officer, and the protocol officer brought us all in a room and said, "Okay, this is what you got to do. You're gonna have to bow to the king. You're gonna have to curtsy to the king." And I said, "I'm not
No.
doing that. I'm not doing it." And they said, "Well, you have to go way in the back." So I never got to see him face to face or shake his hand, but I ain't buying a king. I'm just saying right now, YouTubers, and that's part of like I tell my children that I'm not bowing to any king. I'm not
You
bowing to
fit
anybody.
more in America, Isvar, than Canada. That's weird. Americans don't bow to a king either.
Yeah, I mean the French don't. I mean they cut off the heads of their kings. So Europe has gone through this before, right? The Russian the Bolshevik Revolution. So yeah, I'm not a royalty watcher.
Okay,
Won't bow
these
to.
two are kind of related. Pro-Carneyites, this is Canadian tech prep. Pro-Carneyites think he's playing 4D chess. The problem is his opponents are the citizens of Canada, not outside elements. And talk to you in 4 years, but I'm betting heavily financially against Carney, says Gordon Michaels.
I mean economic theory. You should talk to that. I think I answered another somebody asked what's Mark Carney going to do for Canada, and I said three things. I think one thing I don't three P's. I don't like the process that brought him into power. I might not agree with his policy, but one thing he does have that people respond to is posture. I mean, he's a PhD, Oxford guy, like a banker. You might be right. His policy might be paper driven, not practical. Somebody once said he's never written a purchase order, meaning he's never run a company, right? He doesn't understand small business. He doesn't, so those things are a disconnect. He doesn't understand the people that he's governing because he's never had to. Straight from Harvard, sitting in boardrooms. So yeah, I agree. I think not 4 years, 2 years. I don't think he's gonna stick around. I think he's gone. I think he's gonna be knighted somehow, and he's gonna be Lord Mark Carney of Worcestershire or something. The sauce or I don't know. Maybe they have Worcestershire. Worcestershire.
Please consider subscribing below.
Thank you for being with us. Please leave your comments, feedback, what you think about us, and see you in the next podcast. Bye.